if possible. Okay, and the party can be this round.
But just be aware we have.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So I just do one question. You know, the party has a green dot that is like, what was it?
It's a herb mayonnaise.
Huh?
Herb mayonnaise.
And exactly what herb?
Dill, oregano, sugar, parsley.
So many.
And parsley and chives.
Okay. Yeah.
Dill, what?
Dill, chives,
Tarragon.
parsley, tarragon.
Oh, tarragon. Chill.
Shivel.
Chervil.
Oh,
Chervil.
Chill.
400 grams of herbs to 600 grams of
Oil.
oil.
I guess a lot of people already asked. But
I did
what
that
to do?
this morning. Because everyone was very intrigued by that
Yeah.
little thing, sauce at the side. It was really nice. I liked it.
More of the crunchy bits in the dessert that look like corn.
Mung beans.
What about mung bean? Oh.
Eh?
They just soak in water and then you peel it
Mm-hmm.
and then you cook it again.
There was something else that you said licorice, something that tasted the brown colour one. The brown colour. You know, in Iceland when you mix it.
Ice and jar?
Yeah, well, I'll call it the dessert.
Okay.
There was something brownish.
Reddish brown.
Yeah, right.
That's roast hip. Like a wild roast hips.
Ah.
You can buy like a roast hip tea in like an organic shop.
Oh.
So it's roast hip tea made into a gel instead of roast sugar. And a bit of black cardamom. So that's where the tea comes from.
Yeah, a lot of people say it's like a treasure chest. It's like, you know,
Yeah, and
trying to find out exactly what it is and not really know. Yeah.
So I mean, what are the things that you have to take into consideration when you're pairing the XO with the food?
Well, I guess to make sure that it stands out well to the cognac, make sure that it doesn't overpower it. It's very smooth, very easy to drink. Actually, it goes very well with most of the street food that I have. Yeah, you know, truthfully, it does.
But does it like actually enhance the taste of the food per se, like as like how like wine pairing would? It's got less, what is it, like roughly, less fruity base sort of thing. I mean, it goes with everything, but does it really enhance like food?
I think that's very subjective. Some people feel that. Well, I think when you pair with wine, it's supposed to complement the food as well, and not, may not enhance, but I think the taste changes.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the same also with pairing with cognac. It is better. I think Char pot with XO in it. It's different from Char and drinking XO. So yes, it does change a little bit. Both, yeah.
Chef, another thing, the laksa, when I poured the soup in, there was this
Mint
puddle
oil.
of green, on top.
Yeah.
I
That's
was
mint
trying to
oil.
Mint oil, right? Because you use the same mint that you garnish on. Is it the same mint that you garnish on laksa normally? That same mint?
It's the big leaves. The big leaves is what we used to make the mint.
I see, okay.
And the very, very small tips we use on the dish.
Okay, mint oil. Because it tastes like mint, at the same time it tastes like a bit of something else. Almost.
Okay.
Yeah. So
There's a bit of chives in there as well, but the majority.
Yeah, because it didn't taste altogether fully mint, is it? Maybe a chive, okay.
Would the dinner last night appeal to the Westerners? Because I mean, for us it's fine because we like those kind of taste, right? But the hako and all is quite strong.
Okay.
Did you get any
Negative feedback? Well, I met a few last night, and for the last four nights, they seem perfectly happy with what it is. But Karen would be a better place to ask you that. And then,
Yeah, we had 60 per night in the 4 nights. I think that one general comment was one of surprise. Yeah, I think everyone was very taken aback because it was very unpredictable. It was very surprising. You know, there was a lot of anticipation. Food is very subjective. Everyone had their own personal favorites. Some like this one better than the other. But in general, everyone was, very taken back with how far up the menu turned out to be. Because there are a lot of people who have tried similar feats. Deconstruction is a word commonly thrown around nowadays. And especially when it comes to Penang food, a lot of people thought we were actually going to serve street food in a gourmet style. But I think what Michael did was something completely different, which is what we attempted to, we set out to do in the first place. So yeah, no negative feedback. One of a lot of surprise, definitely. But everyone's been very, very encouraging and very complimentary. So yeah, I think Michael did a really stand-up job.
Yeah.
I mean, even with some of you who went on the food trail with us 3 weeks ago, you were anticipating how it would turn out, and I think we still managed to surprise you.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
We
I
were
think that speaks a lot, and I think Michael's been really, really creative. The process has been tough, to be honest. It's been a challenge for both the team and of course Michael and his team. It's out of his comfort zone because he's more used to European cooking, and this is Asian street food. For us, it was also a challenge because we want to make sure that when you deconstruct something so close to people's hearts, it can really go both ways.
Yeah.
Which is why we wanted something very contrasting, rather than trying to cook it better, to really turn it around. Which is why we liked what he did with the dishes, rather than try to cook Asam better than the one that we have. No, then it really becomes a very subjective thing. So we liked it. We liked what he did. And that's why at the food tasting we were supposed to choose 6 courses. We ended up with an 8-course dinner because we couldn't make choices because we liked everything. And Michael being a good sport, and he said okay, which is also another challenge.
Were there any dishes that were thrown out? I mean, that were not?
No, we couldn't throw any out, which is why we ended up with 8.
All your permutations were.
I mean, actually,
So-
when you asked me at the first time we met, what we were going to cook, I said I wasn't very sure. That was true, I wasn't very sure. The food tasting was the next day.
The very next day.
Yeah, the very next day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Because Michael had come one trip before
okay.
that food tour that we went on already.
so I didn't go for dinner or to showroom room because I couldn't do in the kitchen.
It was in the kitchen for 24 hours after the interview we had at G Hotel. From that interview, we walked him over to the kitchen and he stayed there for 24 hours to get ready for the food tasting. And we were blown away, so we chose all 8. There was nothing that was thrown out. In fact, there was one that was a little bit of a debate, and that was the char kway teow. Because I was quite insistent in the beginning to have a deconstruction of char kway teow. Michael was quite insistent that we didn't. You want to explain?
Sure. Well, I thought that char kway teow, the main part of it was kway teow.
Yeah, and there was no kway teow.
Yes, if you remove the kway teow, then it's not char kway teow.
Yeah.
We can't use any pork, any lard. And if you move that part out again, then it's not char kway teow.
He says, yeah, with no pork, no lard, and no kway teow, I can't deconstruct this dish.
And then I think, to be perfectly frank as well, it's very hard to cook char kway teow for 60 people at one time, especially in a wok that I don't know how to use. So it would be a disaster. So it's best to stay away.
So when we had 8 dishes, and we figured that we already had 8 dishes, which was definitely more than sufficient, and we already had a pasta dish. So I chose to, go with the expert and say, okay, let's leave this one out. And I think it worked out well. So.
Okay, maybe you can tell us a bit about like the most contentious dish on the menu, which I think like just from discussion, which is really interesting, was the what was it? The Hokkien mee?
Hokkien noodle.
Yeah, Hokkien noodle. Because the texture of the noodle is just unexpected. Yeah, softer.
Yeah, I think for 60 it's very hard to replicate pasta.
Yeah.
So it's also timing with what goes on for the dinner. So I think the pasta was. I think some Asians like the noodles softer, some like it more al dente. Depends which side of the sit on. So I tried to make sure that we appease both sides, and that's why it turned out. That's why it's like that.
Was it angel hair or?
Yeah.
Handmade
What
angel.
about the oil?
Handmade?
It's a fish oil instead.
Sorry,
It's
it's
a cod oil, right?
no, actually it's prawn and crab. Yeah.
You could smell it the moment the door opened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can smell it
Yeah.
full blown, yeah.
I mean, we make it every day, but we have to make it every day. You can't make enough. So the kitchen smells like a Hokkien Mee shop. It's not easy to spell.
So what was at the bottom, when you take out the noodle, at the bottom there was this whole stack of paste.
That's
and
right,
then
that's
you
actual
get
sauce.
crispy
So at the base is XO sauce.
Hazel sauce.
Then the heavy is Japanese sakura ebi, which is
Japanese
fried on
sakura
top.
ebi.
Yeah.
That was very nice.
Shrimp like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that added the texture.
Yeah, there were actually requests for chef to bottle that sauce himself.
That was a very nice sauce.
Yeah.
Hey guys, just to jump in, you've got about 5 minutes, and then the next 5 minutes thereafter would be for your photos.
There is two very exciting dish, I think. Your Ho Qian was very well deconstructed, I think.
That's a
yeah.
good dish.
And your nasi kandar.
Okay.
I was intrigued by the sauce. I know you cooked the beef
For
for
38 hours. 38.
3 days marination, I was told.
That's right. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't ask me how I know. Someone told me. But that sauce
Yes.
is quite similar to the nasi kandar. How do you manage to? Are that totally two different ingredients that, or
What do you mean?
that the sauce
Yeah.
that we top onto
Okay,
the
so
beef?
we marinate the wagyu cheese in the rendang sauce first. Then we cook it in the rendang sauce. Then
It's a rendang sauce.
yeah. So then when you cook beef cheek, it loses moisture or the water, so it becomes very. You cook it in a vacuum bag, and then you get a lot of liquid out of that. So we take the liquid, then we reduce it, add more veal stock or beef stew with rendang sauce again, and cook it in the sauce. So then it's cooked. Then we pour it. We finish it with rendang sauce. That's why it's like that.
And you have topped something dry.
Then there's that
Is
curistic,
it called?
there's curistic on coconut in rendang, the desiccated coconut. So what we did was we took the nasi we made in the puff rice. The white slurry bit. Yeah. And then the coconut, which we fried, pan fried coconut. Bit of panko and sunflower seeds.
Sunflower seeds.
That's right. And then that was how and that was meant to be the curistic part of rendang that normally is folded in with the sauce. So you take it out and put it on top instead.
Very fragrant, very aromatic. Very fresh too.
One of the dish was very surprising when it came in, your rojak.
Okay.
Why you plated your rojak at one side and it looks like, I thought there was some a stick coming,
Okay.
the next thing coming. I thought that empty big space
Yeah.
was something to surprise me.
Okay.
And why do you put so much flowers? Is that part of?
Okay. Well, I'll answer both questions. I thought it looked better when it's on the side. Not everything is plated in the middle. So we put it on the side a little bit, as opposed to plating always right in the middle of the plate. It's very old school to plate, like following a clock, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock. It's very old school when you see dots of jelly all around. So we try to stay away from that. The food is maybe more natural, and the approach is more nature based. So that's why it's also on one side of the plate, I guess, as opposed to how that is. But the violets or Johnny jump ups, which is what they are, have a bit of flavor, a bit of floral, which I like. So we thought we'll transport the elements from 53. We use a lot of flowers to what we do here as well. So that's how we combine the two together.
May, you were asking me last night about how is this deconstruction, so maybe you want to tell me about the jelly,
Okay, so
pineapple chili.
What is a pineapple jelly?
so it's got 3 different carrots. It's got orange, normal orange carrots, yellow and purple carrots. It's got jicama or bangkuang. It's got cucumber. It's got daikon, and it's got pink daikon also. So I think so. It changes sometimes depending on what you can get. Then it's sliced and then it's rolled into a tube. They're the same size. Around, so it's rolled around a straw, so that you get the same size.
It's 30 on each plate.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This
We
what?
just learned that.
The
There are
30
30 tubes
Oh.
on each plate. Exactly.
So then the prawn paste or the heko is how it's normally made in rojak. So we just find very good heko. Then it's piped in the middle of the tube. Sauce is a bit runny, so it was something to close a little bit. normally there's pineapple. So instead of using pineapple as a fresh fruit, we make it in the consomme. Add chili, because it's chili in rojak, so it's a pineapple and chili jelly. Yeah. There's peanuts, so instead of using peanuts, I think some rojak has peanuts, some doesn't have. I prefer that with. So I went to find some peanut candy from this very small shop in Penang, which I like. Then we blitzed it, and so we use peanut candy, and then we finish it with the flowers. And so I guess when you eat the dish, you put every bite you get a bit of everything. Which is how rojak is supposed to be mixed together. So every bite you get a bit of everything, rather than just taste vegetable on one side and rojak on one side. That's how the dish works.
How challenging is, I mean, you have a course of a few dinners and you are not like in Singapore, getting the ingredients, you know, it's not like you in Singapore, you go to the market, oh, I want this, you know, here it's like in Penang, how difficult?
Okay, well, Penang is much harder than KL. KL is much easier. A lot of the companies do not ship to Penang, but they do, they ship only once a week, which is not good enough. So since we're also doing Penang street food, I thought it was important to find as much food as we could from Penang, which is what we did. So the soy sauce is from Penang, spices are from Penang. We went to the market every day. Every morning we went to the market to get produce, which is why the rojak sometimes changes. Sometimes there's green radish, sometimes there isn't, depending on what we get. And then we bought some from Singapore. Well, I drove up from Singapore with a carload of stuff. The guys brought some things also. So the barbecue chicken was cooked in Singapore because we couldn't cook it here. There's not enough time.
Oh.
Yeah, because it took 3 days to marinate and 38 hours to cook.
Yeah.
So unless we fly the chef out much earlier,
So, yeah.
there was no way he could cook it in time.
So it takes 6
for-
days to do it.
So you cooked it in Singapore.
So we cooked the 70 kg that we had, and then we brought it up here. I drove out with a carload of things. Then we brought some equipment here also. And that's how that worked. But it was important to use as much as we could find locally. So I think the blocks of wood that we buy teas on, the shelves and the set, they are all really from here. As much as we could, we used it from here. What we couldn't find or they were not good enough, then we used from somewhere else.
Can you tell us more about your whole chef?
Sure. But it's local oysters. That's poached in buttermilk.
Poached in buttermilk.
Yeah. You can't get buttermilk here in Penang. It's not much easier, it's just hard to find it in KL. So the buttermilk, I brought it up with me. And then there's oyster mayonnaise, or oyster emulsion, which is, so usually in mayonnaise you have eggs and oil as to form an emulsion. Oysters have a very high protein, so with oysters and with oil you can make a mayonnaise also without any egg. The eggs are very, very fatty, so without egg yolk you can get oyster mayonnaise. So oyster mayonnaise. To get the smoky flavor from the oyster that I like. When you guys saw me eat it, we use smoked oil. So we smoked oil with hay, like hay you get from a pet shop. Then we made a chive oil, because in his version there were a lot of chives or spring onions, so we made a chive oil. There's a bit of kombu, Japanese seaweed, in the oyster. Then there was some, I think the oyster that I had that I liked, that was a bit crispy. So to replace that, we use Japanese panko. We fry in a bit of butter.
We're actually at our last question.
Okay, one more.
Last question.
I just want to know that the laksa, it's really supposed to serve, how they put that? Cold.
Yes.
Why is that so? Because to all of us, laksa is a very hot dish. Then when it's quite cold.
Well, we make the laksa stock, or we make Penang laksa as normal. And then we tried it hot, warm, cold, and then we try to clarify a lot more. So when we clarify too much on consomme, it loses the less body. Yeah, it's very clean, but it doesn't taste like laksa as much. So we thought we shouldn't clarify it. Hot was okay, but then it's too much like laksa, and I think I liked it best when it was served at room temperature. So the bottles are room temperature, and the scallops they're torched before, so it's also not so cold, I suppose.
Maybe we took so long taking photos that
So because generally it's hard to pair hot soup with cognac, because when you get two liquids that are like that, it doesn't pair as well, which is something that we discussed, and therefore we decided to serve it at room temperature. And even if it gets a little bit cold, it's still better than when you try to match piping hot soup with cognac. The mouthfeel, it's a bit too much. and it overwhelms everything else, and then you can't sort of taste the elements after that. So we agreed with Michael that we'll serve it at room temperature.
I think, and also it overcooks the scallop, which I cured. So
yeah,
so it wasn't a good idea.
absolutely.
The last question for Karen.
Sure, okay, go ahead.
So maybe you can just tell us the future plans for Hennessy XO in terms of these dinner and stuff, like where it's headed.
Appreciation grows.
Yeah.
So our objective is to continuously inject new elements into the platform, because and keep discovering new ways to appreciate such a beautiful cognac, pairing it with different types of food, thinking of new concepts to intrigue people, because the whole objective is to really explore and discover together all the new ways that you can enjoy XO with. I'm quite proud to be part of this project. I think this time around it's really special. I said it last night in my toast. There's a lot of heart that went into this. This year is an iconic year for XO because we don't change decanters every year. So this year is when we launch our new decanter, and the whole dialogue around preservation of heritage was very, very clear to us. This is really what we wanted to talk about. Hence the choice of the venue, hence the concept of the deconstruction of Penang food, and the choice of the music with the Erhu you saw last night, and of course the selection of the right chef to work with. As this collaboration evolved from when you met us 3 weeks ago, we've learned a lot more about the similarities between Michael's work and the art of making cognac. There's a lot of respect to nature. There's a lot of respect to local produce. Similarly, there's a lot of respect to process, attention to detail, blending and pursuit of that perfection and getting it consistent and right every time. So I think these are things that we learn and that we will continue to do. We'll try and be as creative and reimagine it differently and try to keep you guys interested and engaged each time. So that's, I guess, the plan. Exactly what we're going to do next, to be honest, I haven't thought about it because I'm still fresh from this one. I'm still living the high of this one. And maybe after we've gotten a little bit more sleep, it'll come to me. But yeah, we'll keep you informed. Yeah, and we're always, every time we do an appreciation course, we ask ourselves, what are we going to do next? But we always find something. I think that's the beauty of this job as well. So yeah, I'm very excited. I think Michael did an outstanding job last night.
I think slightly, there should be a slightly improvement on the lightings, because the food can't really see the beauty of the food.
Yes, I actually take that feedback. It's something that we tried to
Quite
fix,
dim.
but it's a 1925 building. There are no such thing as dimmers, and we could not rewire the lights even if we could, even wanted to, because they wouldn't let us touch anything. The chandeliers were built and they wanted it maintained. We couldn't do anything to the lights, so there was only so much we can touch. But that's actually really part of the thing that we have to embrace when you work in a heritage building.
I think it's okay with Roy because we have the splash, we have the
Yeah, we
camera.
came with correct. Yeah,
The guest sitting next to me keeps saying, "What's this?"
Yeah, but the beauty, one of the general things that I observed in the 4 nights, every time the dish is placed in front of the person, the first thing they do is take out their phone to take a picture. Yeah.
Yes.
And that was like general across all 4
Yes,
nights,
they did, yes.
across all 60 guests.
Not just bloggers.
Yeah, not just everyone was touched. And I told my client, I said that's a real sign that people really appreciate not just the food. And like I was saying, we eat with 5 senses. Visually, it's very pretty.
It's very geometric. Everything is almost like laid out perfectly.
He plays with the tweezer.
No wonder.
Yeah. So it's a painstaking art form, but yeah, I think it was well worth it. People appreciate it.
Okay. So last 5 minutes for your photos.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Position chef around